I want to assure you, Mr. Gee and Martha, and convey this to the country rep and even to your head office. This is a well-appreciated gift. It also shows the collaboration and trust we have between the host community and the UNHCR. I think you convey our greetings even to the High Commissioner for Refugees, and thank them. The other thing we want to say is that with the new legislation in place, we are talking about the Refugee Act,
yes,
which is now operationally on. And we want to appeal to our government to also take note and make the implementation of the Act a reality. Nowadays, of course, with the UNHCR, with a lot of displacement globally, nobody is able to sustain to give refugees food, shelter, health, and water. What is desired is that hosting nations have signed what they call the Comprehensive Refugee Framework Response, CRRF. And what that means that, as a country, we have accepted refugees to be given freedom of movement, freedom to do business, freedom to do trade, freedom to contribute to the economy of this county and to the economy of this nation. You are aware today we have close to 10 million refugees displaced in Ukraine. And no one in the world will be able to sustain giving every refugee what he needs. And we have signed to those conventions. So I want to appeal also to our government to implement the issue of that. I also want to thank UNHCR. You have supported us, the government of Kenya, and the host communities, because refugees have shared with us their resources. We have shared with them their resources. Consequently, we also ended up in the refugee database. And we had a lot of locals here who could not get IDs, although they were Kenyans. We also have refugees who have acquired Kenyan ID cards, who want to go back to the status of refugees. Bwana County, Bwana DCC, we had discussed about this. Those refugees who have acquired Kenyan ID cards and who have returned those ID cards, let us follow up with Nairobi so that those guys can get back their status as refugees. I am aware we still have Kenyans who are still in the database who have not gotten their IDs. Currently, as we are talking, we have about 2,000 forms waiting in Nairobi. And we have been promised by the office that in the next 1 month or so, all the pending cases will be issued with IDs. The government also has agreed in principle to extend the period for people to volunteer to also give information that they can be removed from the refugee database. On the same strength, we are removing the refugees also from our database so that it's clear. I want to say today we are extremely happy, and we want to appeal to the donor communities. This road from Garissa to the border is an A3 road. It's a road, if done to a bitumen standard, can actually transform this region. Today I can tell you the road from Kapenguria to Nadapal has been done. And today in that area there is no insecurity, there is no banditry. Even tuk-tuks, Alto, these small cars, all of them are going up to the border in Sudan. We want the border up to Somalia to be the same as the case of Nadapal. I want to thank the government of Kenya because they have done the Horn of Africa Gateway project is also starting soon. From Isiolo to Modogash to Wajir to Habas to Elwak to Ramu to Mandera. That road, 740 kilometers will be done through World Bank support. Another stretch will be done through ADB, the African Development Bank, and another stretch will be done by annuity program. That road will be done. We are also appealing the government to do this section so that this region can open up. We have a new dispensation, a new government in Somalia. I want to appeal to our government. Let us not look at Somalia with a security lens. Let us look at Somalia as a neighboring state as an African state which is our neighbor, we should actually consider to extend the roads up to the border to allow for trade and movement. I am very saddened as a member of parliament from this region, because the Kenyan government has put a lot of effort to open the miraa trade between Kenya and Somalia. The transportation of miraa by air from Kenya to Mogadishu. The government has not put the same effort to open the border from Mandera to Kiunga. We, the people of Northeastern, we need this border to be open. While you argue for our brothers, the Meru people who have been given miraa to Somalia, we also need to be considered because we are also suffering. I am appealing to the government of President Uhuru and the incoming government, together with the new government of Somalia, to consider trade and allow free movement of goods and people. Today in Dadaab, we are facing challenge of insecurity, banditry along the roads. This is as a result of closure of the border, lack of free trade. People are bringing sugar through Panya routes. We have young men who have decided to go and look for money from those sugar cartels. They have transformed to highway gangs, taking people at ransom, killing, shooting, maiming. This is all because of bad policy. We are saying to the government, please consider the policy of saying the border is closed. There is no border closed between Kenya and Somalia. People and goods are moving. We are only cheating ourselves that the border is closed. I think we have to be very cognizant of that fact. As I close, and as we go to the election, I am very people of Dadaab and Garissa County have been very, very peaceful. Today, as we talked, I was very impressed. You talked freely. You had no inhibition. You want to support your candidate, that's okay. That's democracy. The majority have their way, the minority have their say. Let us agree to have a peaceful election in Garissa County, in the Dadaab sub-county campaign. All the people who are vying, the ladies, the young men, MCS, the MPs, and the senator, whoever will be vying, let us look for votes and make sure for citizens to vote. This is the only time you have in 5 years to choose your leader for the next 5 years at all levels. So let's do it peacefully. Let us engage in dialogue. Let us have peace and let's work with the government, and let's also appreciate the refugees have their own predicament. Let us also support them in whatever way we can. And instead of saying close the camps, if we want a permanent solution, these camps have been there for the last 30 years. The government of Kenya can do what is best to do, to actually vet the refugees and those who are of sound conduct to be given citizenship so that they can live and stay with us as part of, because they have lived with us all these years. I think with those many remarks, I want to thank the people of Dadaab. As I am your outgoing member of parliament, I have not had any problem with anyone among the community. And I hope that even as we go to election, I'm still your leader. I will be able to contribute to whatever in a small way and to the people of Dadaab, whatever we can do. I'm very passionate about education. I'm very passionate about livelihoods. I'm very passionate about security. Those are the things that I always value. And those are things which will make us all have